Hey everyone out in the YouTube world, it's Craig from Flying Wheels. Today is another auction day. I haven't been to the auction in a few weeks because I'm completely stocked up. I have a ton of cars, but they're all starting to sell now because tax season is in full swing for cheap cars. All my cheap cars are gone already. So anyway, I'm going back to the auction for the first time in a few weeks today. I know a few of you watch the videos already and some you're newbies, so welcome to my channel. It's a car channel. I own a car business. I sell cars, I buy cars, I fix cars, I drive cars. We have a lot of fun, so make sure you're subscribing if you're not subscribing already. If you're already subscribing, thanks a lot for the support. For now, you know the game. What am I driving? Check it out. Take a good look. 5 points to the winner. Keep adding your points up if you are getting these right, because eventually there's going to be a prize to that winner. Let's move on. So there are a lot of auction stereotypes, a lot of stigmas with the auction. Well, today's going to be the day where I go over all of the auction stereotypes. So before I really get into the long rant of how things work at the auction, before I get to the auction, if it gets boring, feel free to fast forward all the way up to the auction and you can see what it's really like inside the auction. You can learn all the ins and outs while I'm there too. But for now, let's get back to all the instructionals and I'll teach you how it all works and everything you need to know about the auction before we go to the auction. So I'm on my way to the auction right now. Let's talk about a couple things that you expect with the auction. Well, the auction has a stigma for selling bad cars. That's not the case. Sometimes, yes, that is the case. If you've seen some of my videos, you've seen that I've bought some lemons, you've seen that I've been burned, but it's only because of bad research. I didn't do my job well enough. I didn't look at the cars before buying. I didn't do my due diligence prior to purchase. So it's my own fault. There are multiple types of vehicles that run through the auction. Yes, there are classic cars. Yes, there are highline cars. That's not your everyday vehicle, though. You don't see those all the time. I do have videos about auction cars. I do highline cars and imports and supercars. That's not a typical day, though. So what we're doing today is trying to buy that everyday daily driver, not spend a ton of money. Also, auction values, if you've seen my videos before, they're not that low. A lot of times you can buy cars cheaper on Craigslist than you can at the auction, but if you shop right, if you know your market, you can win big. And I've been in business for years and years and years. Thanks to the auction. So today we're going to go to the auction, and there are many types of vehicles that will be there. You'll see a lot of new cars. So it's 2019. There's probably not going to be any 2019 cars there, but it's March 2019. So we're going to find a lot of 2018 cars there. So we'll find some nice, clean, one-year-old cars with low mileage. A lot of them are like one-year lease trade-ins. It might be a Ford that was traded into BMW, and BMW is not going to sell a Ford. So BMW runs that car through the auction. The other cars we'll see a lot of are like 10-year-old, 100,000 miles, which is typically the market for auction cars, 10 years, 100,000 miles. A lot of people buy their cars, they drive 100,000 miles, they trade it into the new car dealer, and then the new car dealer runs it back through the auction because they're not going to sell a 100,000 mile car. Well, that is my niche. That is my car right there. I buy 10-year-old, 100,000 mile vehicles all day, every day. That's my bread and butter. So like I said, let's say the Ford dealer is not going to sell a 100,000 mile Ford Focus. Ugh, I got this new stand and I don't know if I like it or not. So the Ford dealer is not going to sell this 100,000 mile 10-year-old Ford Focus, but I will. I don't mind selling a 2009 Ford Focus. That's an everyday car that anybody can buy and drive for not a lot of money. So I go to the auction and I buy that. The other thing is repossessions. So the banks and the credit unions that have to repo their cars, they're not car dealers. They don't sell their cars, so they run them through the auction. So now we have our option of new one-year-old cars. We have our options of lease trade-ins. We have our repossessions. And then last but not least, there's two more. There's the wholesaler. So the wholesalers will go and they'll go buy cars from the new car dealers. So maybe the new car dealers don't have time to run their cars through the auction. Well, the wholesalers will go to the new car dealers, buy in bulk. They'll buy 5 to 10 cars all at once. They'll buy them at wholesale prices. They'll clean them up, and then they'll run them through the auction. Those aren't so bad, but it's tough to make a huge profit on those cars because the wholesalers are trying to make a huge profit on those cars. And then last but not least is the used car dealers. The used car dealers are the ones you want to stay away from. You don't want to buy a car from me at the auction, to be honest with you. If I can't sell it at my lot, I run it through the auction. Why can't I sell it at my lot? There's 1,000 reasons. You never know why. And there's 1,000 people like me at every auction that can't sell a certain car, so they run it through the auction. So those are the ones you typically want to stay away from because it's there for a reason. The new car dealers don't want to sell that 100,000 mile car. The banks aren't going to sell their repossessions. The wholesalers buy low and they try to sell it for a little bit higher, still try to sell low, but a little bit of a profit. And then the used car dealers sell typically the stuff they can't sell. So those are the buyers that you'll see at the auction. There's a couple things at the auction too. You need to get there early. You need to know what you're looking at. You need to know what you're buying, and you need to know what you're in the market for. What are your customers buying? What is your demographic that you're looking for? So get there early and look at the cars so you know what you're buying. Green light versus red light. Let's talk about that. I've said that in the past. Green light, anything with under 100,000 miles and under 10 years is sold green light, which means they guarantee the engine and transmission up until 5 o'clock that day. But here's the catch. They guarantee any repair over $500. So if you find a repair over $500, you can bring it back. It can be multiple repairs that add up to less than $500. So if you have 5 $400 repairs, you can't bring it back. But if you have one single repair or more over $500, you can return the car if it's a green light. If it's red light, 100,000 miles, 10 years or over, it is automatically as is. Good engine, good transmission, bad transmission, needs brakes, whatever, automatically red light. Doesn't mean that it's junk. The car does not mean that it's junk. But if you've seen my videos in the past, once again, you can buy a car with a bad transmission on red light and not know it. You don't have to announce it. You can also buy a great car that passes inspection red light. That's why you have to check your cars out beforehand. So we're on our way to the auction right now. Let's get going. We'll check it out and see what's there. So here we are at the auction. I just parked. You can see we're in peak tax season right now, and the place is absolutely packed. There's not even a spot to park your car. So it's going to be a busy, expensive day today. So the good thing about tax season is I planned far ahead. I started buying tax season cars well in advance, months and months ago. I started servicing them, cleaning them, detailing them, everything, getting them ready to sell. So when this season's here, I'm already ready to go. But stuff sells quickly, so you do still have to come back to the auction and buy more to fill up your inventory. Now you'd think that everyone's lot is full just like mine, or empty just like mine. But the good thing about the auction is the new car dealers are selling their cars. So they're taking those tax income checks and using them as down payments and then financing the balance on new cars. So people are trading in their cars. So the new car dealers are selling a lot of new cars, which means they're taking in a lot of trades, which means they're bringing those trades to auctions. So the auction's actually busy with people, but more full with cars as well. So just to put it in perspective, we have a new car dealer here. This is a 2016 Platinum F-150 with 34,000 miles. I mean, the truck is amazing. It's beautiful. Open up the inside. It's still like a new truck inside and out. Now, this is easily a $65,000 to $70,000 truck at the dealership, brand new. You can buy it 2 years old with 34,000 miles. Let's see how much it goes for later. All today. The auction cars come with this sticker or something similar. So we see it's a 2012, 86,000 miles. The VIN, this barcode, I can actually scan it with my phone and pull up a vehicle history report as long as I have the subscription. See Papa L right there. This hopefully will be in my possession at the end of the day. This is an 06 BMW Z3 53K, black wheels, black body, black interior, black top. I can scan the VIN, see what it's worth, and then run it through. Now, Mini, which is owned by BMW, is selling this. It was traded into them, and they ran it through the auction because the Mini dealership isn't going to sell a 2006 BMW. Then we have stuff like this Ford Fusion. This is a repo. So you got to be careful with the repos. It's a 14 with 62,000 miles. Listen to when it takes off. Has an incredible engine knock. So a lot of times the repossessions will come through because people will neglect their car. I mean, you can see the brake dust on the back of their car. So clearly somebody wasn't taking care of this car. They couldn't afford the brakes. They weren't doing the oil changes. So we have a 14 with a bad engine, all because somebody neglected it. Now they had a loan on it, and then once the engine goes, they couldn't afford the repair, so they just said, F it, let the bank take it back, and then it ends up at auction. Not all repos are bad. Some people just can't afford their car and they turn them back in, so they end up here. Some are practically brand new that come through the auction, so we can get a really nice newer vehicle, low miles. It's a repossession because the buyer or the owner couldn't afford the loan anymore, so they give it back to the bank. So you can see there are thousands of cars behind me, all from different types of sellers. I'm in the new car dealer section right here, so nothing's commingled. I can buy new car stuff here, then behind me way over there is all used car dealer stuff. Typically the lane over there is all wholesalers. Everything against the fence is all repossessions. So you get to know who you're buying from just based on the lane that it's in. Now clearly we have a problem here. This is a 404 with 181,000 miles, and you can hear, I mean, it's obvious, engine knock. So you gotta be careful with what you buy. That's an obvious problem. Transmissions are a lot more difficult because you can't tell if it's slipping by just looking at it. So here we go, a Volvo, 2018 Volvo XC90 with 35,000 miles. It's basically a brand new car. It's less than a year old and it's here at the auction. Avis owns it, rental company. So this was a fleet lease, something like that, some type of Highline lease rental car that you had for a year and then brought back. Watch out for the oil. So it goes all the way down to even the weird and wild. We have actually a pretty clean Acura Integra, 95 Integra, 213,000 miles. That's not something I'm interested in, but it is at the auction. Let's see how much it goes for. I'm juggling through the lanes, so I'm not going to buy either one, but here's that Ford Fusion with the knock, and then behind me is that Acura Integra. I'm not interested in either one, but both are running through at the same time. Right now the Acura is at $600, $700. And this is as is because it has framed image, but they're not announcing the engine. Starts at $1,000. Oh, there's a good dent. That Acura sold for $950 plus an auction fee. $4,000 on this Fusion. It's a 2014 with 62,000 miles. Frame damage and a knocking engine that's still $4,000. So I scanned the VIN on this car. I should be paying at auction around $36,000 for it. So we'll see what it goes for. Again, something I'm not interested in. We're just doing it for show today. Still bidding $36,300. $36,400. That car's left. They're still bidding on it, even though there's a different car in here. $36,500 and it's sold. Just about spot on that car. I have an app that I can scan the VIN and it tells me what they're selling for at auction. So I know going into this about where it should be. Obviously I want to be under that. I'd rather not be over it. But it takes a market analysis over the entire country and especially the region with the mileage and tells me what I should be paying for it, what other dealers are paying for it. So that's how I knew about $36,000. BMW is going through it right now. I wonder if those are factory trunk mounts. It's ugly. Oh, this is actually a different Z4 than before. This is an 05 with 186,000 miles. I thought it was that 06 I was looking at. $1,500. $1,500 for a Z4. I got a bid on that. $2,200. $2,500. Is that worth it? $2,500. 180,000 miles Z4. It's an automatic. There's a 6-speed to be a lot cooler. So the auction's all over the place because here's a 2018 Dodge Challenger RT with 8,000 miles being run through a new car store. Why are they selling it? I have absolutely no idea. And that's the problem with being at the auction. You don't know why these cars are here. But a 2018 with 8,000 miles, it's still under warranty, so you have no worries about buying this car here. It's sold green light here, so you have the auction warranty. Then you have a factory warranty still for years and years and miles and miles. It's sold green light with an auction warranty. It's sold with a factory warranty on it still. And the car's in the wrapper. It's still a brand new car. Why is it at the auction though? I said it should be selling around 26 grand. It's at 25.6 right now. 25.7 is the highest bid. Will they sell it? 26 even, they'll sell it. So I'm right on the number for where I said. Man, do I know my job or what? So I can scan the VIN on my dealer app. I can tell what it's worth, what they're going for auction values across the country and regions. So I know walking into this about what the car should sell for. Obviously, I want to be below that. Was it worth 26? Would you guys have paid 26 for it? So here's a 2012 BMW with 69,000 miles. Behind that, you can see a 2012 lifted Silverado with giant wheels and tires. So cars, I mean, the auction's all over the place. You can get anything here, from junkers all the way to almost brand new cars. You can't buy brand new cars, but pre-owned, certified pre-owned, brand new, low mileage cars you can get at the auction. A little bit of everything. You have to be wary of what you're buying because you never know unless you really get a chance to check it all out. One of the myths about car auctions is that all the cars there are junk. Here's that 2018 F-150, 2016 F-150 running through the auction soon. The car is absolutely beautiful. Nothing wrong with it at all. I've already gone through the whole car. It's awesome. So not every car at the auction is junk. We can get really, really nice vehicles. Another myth is that we make $1 million on every car. That's not the truth. We don't make tons and tons of money on every car. Actually, the margins are decent, but they're not huge. And it's really depending on how much you're willing to spend per car. The trick is you got to make $1 million over time, not every time. So this car says I should be spending around $34,000, $35,000. I scanned, that's on Kelly Book. I scanned the VIN to my dealer app, says it should be selling around 37 here, and I can sell it around 39. So there's a $2,000 margin if I pay 37 for it. So it cost me $37,000 to make $2,000.
Miles on the truck, double root, all come to beer, it's all 38, 37 grand, I want money.
So they start at 38 with no real money. There are people raising their hand at 34,000.
34.2, 34.4,
34.2, 34.6, 34. So where I started is exactly right. It's up to 35 right now. So the starting bid is 34, where I said we should be. It's at 35.4. Still going. They're still bidding on it. 35.6. Here's the next car coming through.
35.7.
35.7. Now I said you should go up to 37.5 on it to still make money. They're still bidding on it. $35,700 plus the auction fee. So they're going to be into it for 36 and change. It's a $39,000 truck. So they're going to make $2,800-ish on that car after going through it. And that's if they don't need any repairs, which it really shouldn't need any repairs. Tires might be due now, and there's $1,000 in tires too. Another myth is that used car dealers are slimy and shady. Well, that's not a myth. A lot of them sadly are shady. You got to be careful who you're buying from. Judge a character, judge a person by their character, ask questions, know who you're buying from, not just buying the car, you're buying from the person. So you got to watch out what you're getting. A lot of times you can ask the dealer up on the block, how is the car? Not everyone's going to tell you the truth. I mean, you'd hope they'd have the integrity to say, yes, it needs a transmission, or it needs 4 tires, or whatever. It just did brakes, anything. So don't be afraid to ask on the block, do you know anything about this car? There is code. So if somebody says, I don't know anything about this car, or it's not my car and they're repping it, that's usually code for stay away. They don't know anything about it, or it's there for a reason. So you got to learn who you're buying from, who the seller is, and what to ask. Don't be afraid to ask questions about it. This business is very cutthroat. It's very cutthroat even more at the auction because we're all out to get a deal. We're all out to buy the same car for the best price that we can get. And a lot of times we'll do what we have to do to get it from somebody else. But there is a general camaraderie as well. So you'll get to know a lot of dealers, and maybe I want to buy a car that somebody else wants to buy. Well, I'll give it to him. And then on the next one, he'll come back and give the next one to me. So if I'm bidding against him, I'll stop bidding. And just there's a level of respect among us as well. So if you treat people with respect, they'll treat you with respect back. I'll give a car up for somebody else and I'll stop bidding on it. And I assume and hope that he will do the same for me on the next one. If you know the song by T.I., it ain't about the money, money. It ain't about the money. Yeah, whatever, you know the song. But anyway, the sale comes first, the truth comes second. Just stop for a minute. Smile. Know who you're buying from. Look around, ask the right questions. You got to be careful in this business because it is cutthroat though. So that BMW going through, sports cars always get too much money at the auction. So that myth is actually accurate. I wanted to be at like $7,800 for it. It's at 11 grand already and still buying, still bidding up. They have a little bit of everything here. Here's an 01 Prelude with 104K. I actually really, really want this just because it was like the coolest car to have when I was in high school. Oh, bummer. And also it's an automatic. They have real money at $1,600 though, which I'm surprised. That's a really cool car back in the day. Factory exhaust and everything still. So if they can take care of the rust on it, that's still a really cool car. It's at $1,900. I was so excited to see this 01 Infiniti QX4 with 95,000 miles. You never see these anymore. They're like relics until that right there. New England rust. Say hi to my grandfather, Papa Al again. Say hi to everybody. That's the world out there watching you. So there's a difference between the auction license and a dealer's license. There's really no such thing as an auction license. I have my dealer's license, which allows me to get access into the auction. When I register with an auction, they do give me a card to get into that specific auction. There is a universal card that allows you to get in a lot of large auctions across the country. So I have one card that I can walk into a lot of auctions all over the country and get into, which I guess would be like your auction license, but there really is no such thing as an auction license. You get your dealer license and you can get into auctions with that, and then you get like a registration card to get into certain auctions that have all your information on file. So you've seen the good, you've seen the bad, you've seen some new cars, you've seen some cars that need motors. Here's some of the ugly. This is repo lane. So we got a crashed one there, missing hubcaps. Now we get to the next one, cracked bumper up. So the repos get to be, here's some trim inside the car. The repos get to be pretty rough. People tend to neglect their car before it's out for repossession because why, if they can't afford the payments, they obviously can't afford the service and maintenance required. Here's some more of the ugly. So a lot of times you'll be interested in buying a car on a car lot. You as a buyer, as a shopper, pull the Carfax, pull the auto check, and you'll see on the history report that it was purchased at auction, it was quoted at auction. And right off the bat, it might raise a red flag for you. You start to get concerned, well, why was it at the auction? Well, everything can go through the auction. A lot of times, car dealers, new car dealers, don't want to sell some of this stuff, so they bring it through the auction. Or they might have an overstock of inventory. Or they might need to liquidate if they're floor planning cars, which means they're financing certain cars for a certain amount of time. They might have to get up on that loan and pay it down, so they sell that car, so they run it through the auction. So another good example right here is this Mercedes. It's a 15 Mercedes with 52,000 miles. The car is absolutely mint, beautiful. New car store owns it. They're bringing it to the auction. It's an awesome car. Someone's going to buy that car, put it on their lot, and do really well with it. But if you pull the history report, it might say reported at auto auction. There's absolutely no problem with that. The new car store didn't want that, or they might not need that, or they might have too much inventory already, so they run it through the auction. And then somebody like me buys it, and then we sell it to you. So there's absolutely no problem with cars being through the auction. You've seen there's good stuff, there's bad stuff, there's ugly stuff, there's everything through here. You just have to know what you're buying and who you're buying from. Here's some more of that ugly. 06 BMW 650 Ci, 106,000 miles. Daddy like it. Glad I didn't buy it. Now it's stuck on the side of the road with the new buyer. Hey, so that's it for my auction day today. It was a good day. I ended up buying 4 cars. To be honest with you, I forget what I bought because there's so much going on in one day. It's so fast-paced, you tend to forget what you bought, what you paid until the end of the day when you start going through everything. So here's everything, here's the entire car lot. If this video is at all helpful or entertaining, do me a favor, give me a thumbs up so other people get to see it. I hope it was helpful for you. I hope you got to learn a little bit because it's taken me a lot of years to learn how this auction process works, and hopefully you got to get some of this knowledge for free in a matter of 9 or 10 minutes. Also, if you have any questions about how anything works or how dealership life works, make sure you comment down below. Hit me up if you have any questions. That's it. Make sure to subscribe if you're not already subscribing. Adios, everybody. See you later.